Anything. Steve, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. How have you been helped by the show?
I'm going to tell you this. I believe you might go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, black man that ever lived on planet Earth, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know anybody before you that's been that great. You know, freeing the slaves is one thing, but you've been freeing people of their mind, which matters, it should be anyhow, to you more than anything else, because with the mind not being right, there ain't nothing else going to happen right anyway.
If you can doubt every thought because you're not your thoughts, if you can doubt every thought, knowing that you're not your thoughts, you don't create them, they're not from God, that they're from the deceiver, the great deceiver, Satan. If you can doubt every thought, you can be free, just like that. At an instant. Bring every thought into captivity. It's so amazing. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married, and the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good, or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature. You can't run from evil within yourself or outside of self. You got to deal with it. And you need good in order to deal with evil. And God is good. You need to return to the Father. And you'll see within you, He will fight the battle for you. And He will fight it without, because He will show you how to deal with it. And you will have no fear. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, along with nothing else. Nothing else means yourself, your children, your wife, your things, your ego, your reputation, and all that. You can't care about any of that. The children of anger will use it to control you. But if you love God, He will renew your mind, and none of those things will be before Him. And so when they go after you, oh well, you may take my body, you may take my things, but you're not going to take my soul. And that's a true reality. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thanks for tuning in, folks, on this fine Tuesday. What a fine Tuesday it is to be back. I got a bit of a show for you. So nice to see all of you here. Look, I'm the American Anchor Baby. We got to get into it here. Maybe I'm a little Epstein brained out with all of you here. I was talking mad-ish, and that's all I'm talking about. I'm there with you. I'm in the trenches with you. Well, whatever. We're here. Got a couple things to get into, some news. And I'm welcoming all of my viewers, okay? You're all here. Thank you so much. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. I see you. How you doing, Jules? How you doing, Leon? I see my people on punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. And, of course, here on YouTube. Welcome, everybody. What a fine Tuesday. You're all still, is everybody still on the same stuff? Look, we need to get into it a little bit. Just a little bit more. But what else here? Look, I'm welcoming my people. Rumble.com, YouTube, you're here. And you're clicking the like button. Okay, you're showing some decorum. You're not being rude. Okay, you're here. We see you. Say hello. Leave a little like. There's all sorts of chaos in the world. What are you going to be part of it? Click the like button. Don't be rude. Welcome. And what else? What else? Look, one more thing. If you got something on your mind, something you want to talk about, something you want to bring up, you're welcome to call. It's 888-775-3773. That's the number. Rebuilding the Family by Rebuilding the Man. JesseLeePeterson.shop. You can get yours. Amazing. So what else can I say? You're here. You know the number. If something's on your mind, people are seduced by the intro. There's a number of seduced people in the chat. You're wondering. You can jump in the chat, say hello. It's a way to show decorum. You don't have to be distracted. You can just say hello. Now what else? Click like the darn video says. CC says something else. I appreciate the energy. Click the like button. Okay, what else? Everybody's here. Pardon. And, okay, where were we? Look, yesterday, I was berating you on more than just your lack of decorum. Calling out some people, like, and presenting to you, out of love. Maybe it felt like an attack. Your low IQ, okay? We're just pointing it out, okay? Because these Epstein files got dropped. You're familiar with the news. Talking about it yesterday. And in this big drop of 3 million files, a lot of people are making a lot of claims. People's brains were nuked, one-shotted, unable to think for themselves. They didn't work on themselves previously. They're like the biblical questions, like whatever. The theme, endure, okay, the last year. Hey, I'm working on it. And then the nuke came. And you weren't ready because you don't understand your mind. Okay? You don't understand how your mind works. So you got nuked. This and that you were unable to make sense of it. I tried helping you. Okay, we were helping you yesterday. That was help. That's what that was. And all that, okay? And, okay, some of you are like, no, but I care about real things, Nick. I care about real things. What about blackmail? You can't be blackmailing. Foreign governments can't blackmail our people. And, I'm never had a stance on that. Like, there's no blackmail. Like, calm down. But I realize that y'all don't care either. Okay? We just want the blackmail. And then the first thing about gossip comes up, and you don't care about the information. You don't do homework, anything. The first thing that comes up, you're like, yep, I'm sharing that. I'm believing that. So don't tell me you care about real things. But, okay, even if you slice those people off, there's some people, Nick Rag, some people care about real things. That we're not getting excited. What about blackmail foreign governments? I was saying this yesterday. It's coming in. You're seeing it. The results are coming in. There's a bunch of stuff. It's not like I'm an expert here. I never pretended to be. But, yeah, it's looking like there's no, as they're saying it, no smoking gun, no smoking gun. And so you'll forgive me, right? Because evidence is not y'all's strong point, So no smoking gun, no smoking gun. You're seeing it now. It's coming in. And, there's like 3 millions of documents were released to the public. Okay, what it was and what it wasn't. And what it was what? More documents. More all sorts of things. Receipts, correspondence, emails, anonymous tips, falsified AI photos. Straight, just totally anonymous, made up things. that was all contained in this huge dump of files, right? And what it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't there wasn't any bank transactions under old 1,000-year-old demonic names like Baal. There wasn't any credit these new things that was like, again, the accusations against Trump, these nasty things. Whoa, in the latest one, he's doing what to people? Totally not credible. That's what it wasn't. It wasn't any like foreign government showing it all. Hey, this is the government that was there. It is. He's working with this government to do this or that. There wasn't any of those things, right? It was a bunch of strange correspondence, emails and stuff that seemed to imply maybe mysterious things in the background that amounted to sexual in nature and stuff like that. So that was interesting. No, amazing. Y'all sorry? I'm just messing with you. Okay. Show me your apologies in the chat, and it's no biggie. Okay, y'all are seeing I was right. You're seeing it now. But anyways, a couple of things here. All the girls loved him. I was messing around a little bit. I kind of stand on that. I think Derek was asking too. Wait, source. This had come up. I forget where. I think Hake was doing the news. Hake News. And I'm like, and he mentioned how I was saying Epstein was a cool guy. I mean, you're reading some of these emails. You're like, yeah, he's kind of a cool guy. And many people thought that. Okay. In fact, the girls thought this. Okay. Many girls. Could you say all? Maybe you can't say all. All the girls loved Epstein. Well, I don't know. I don't stand on that, but it's a funny thing to say that because maybe you can say at one point all the girls loved him. Come on, right? Because there's no coercion. There's no. And you're welcome. I'm not an expert. You're welcome to tell me. No, Nick. Here is this credible, or this is the email. This is the moment that Epstein, coerced, like violently somebody. No, there's not a single credible case of that, as far as I know. So at some maybe you could say at one point all the girls loved him. What was released and all that was stuff like this. I mean, this is just one thing, right? But he was an awesome man. I'm not even going to read this thing here, but in some of these files, you have one girl describing Epstein as an awesome man, and yeah, this whole thing describes the story of this underage girl. She's like 16. And I forget how she gets involved with Epstein, but somehow someone, I think it may have been Ghislaine or somebody close to Epstein tells this girl, hey, you can make some money giving him massages. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You don't have to do literally anything. And it kind of goes slowly. He starts convinced, he kind of gets her to take off her shirt and just do like a topless massage. But she writes in here that she did it willingly. She's like, yeah, I took off my top, made some money, whatever. He took it further. I didn't want to. He understood. But he was an awesome man. So that's partly where it comes from. But I am playing around. Okay. I am messing around. Okay. As cool can be, whatever. That's still pretty sordid stuff. Look, in that, what Epstein wanted was sex. It seems clear that that's what he wanted. Now, the image, it's like he's just this like a monster, this slimy monster. Then these women are like, no, stop it. And the methodology is far more palatable. Sure, he's being nice. He's giving them money. He's like, but what he wants is sex, right? What he wants, it's all in concert to that agenda, right? So how nice is that? I mean, not very. That's just straight up, right? So I'm messing around a bit. He's an awesome man. He's cool. But this is what he wanted was sex. And yes, he could have got him in other ways, but his thrill seemed to be definitely much younger. And they had to be pretty much in every case. The only way for that to be possible, it's like girls with broken homes and they need money and stuff. So it's a nasty business. But it's an interesting business to describe that I've been, in fact, describing for a bit now, if you notice. This sordid business. I mean, think about it. I've been telling you guys the true image of it. It's not this slimy man. It's like these girls are like, stop, get off of me. No, it's in fact the feminine is deeply embedded. Ghislaine Maxwell is an integral part to the whole thing, like women have been in prostitution since the beginning, forever, brothels and all that. You have to get the older woman who I mean, it seemed like she loved Epstein. They were like, put it like this, she had grown mature in her proclivities. So in a certain sense, she loved him and spread it to other women. That's how it's been since the beginning of time. Like, women are an integral part to this nasty businesses, and you got this wrong image of it. You got this image of it that's been told to you that it's like anti-man, actually, so that's just the thing on him being an awesome man, right? I'm messing around a bit, and then these girls, they go off and do this stuff. They call him awesome. They had a good time in a sense, and they get other girls in it, and then later they get guilty. They feel guilty about it. It's not necessarily. It wasn't necessarily the most positive thing. And maybe they go on. They go on to live maybe because those people. I mean, think about it. The life they're leading goes down even if they had a guy that give them a bunch of money and treat him nicely, the life they're leading eventually leads them still down a dark path. Look at Virginia Giuffre. She got all the money from the Epstein Fund, got all the justice in the world, but killed herself. I mean, you end up leading this dark life. You eventually go down a path that's going to be bad. And then you turn around and blame Epstein for it. You're like, wow, look at this life I lived. And I got other girls into it. Which is kind of a wrong, that would be like a wrong proportion to put it on Epstein. No, it's like a story. You've been influenced by evil your whole life. And so you can see these girls growing up, and then they get cajoled into, they're feeling guilty, and now it's like, nope, Epstein was evil from the get-go, and it's like, and they misdiagnose the whole thing. So anyways, I was just thinking about these things. All the girls loved him. So I was done with that. This next segment, how can you could title it what? The War of Monotheistic Religions. Or you could title it Jeffrey Epstein and Goyim, that word. How do I talk about this? Because some Candace Owens, for example, some video I saw going around. Well, she's saying she's trying to describe the world, right? That it's not a war of monotheistic religions. Others are saying it is. With this Epstein file drop, they're saying Epstein, he's talking about Goyim. And it proves, it's showing how the world, it's this fight. It's a fight between monotheistic religions, between Christians and Jews and Muslims. And so this is kind of interesting to me because this is where I get to like express how I think a little differently. Like this is where I get to be kind of clear where I lie in a sense. I don't believe it's a war between these monotheistic religions like that. Now, there are some that believe that. I'm not naive. Sure, there are people that like believe that. And they use these words like Goyim. They see maybe other people certain ways. In the Epstein files, there's Epstein using that word. They see Christians as the enemy. And they see themselves as a certain tribe or whatever. But I say they do so for their corrupted values. They do so following evil. And I want to show you how you're no different. And how God is nowhere in what they're fighting about. This is why it's not a fight of monotheistic religions. God is not in religion. God is nowhere in what they're fighting about. It's like it's all a corrupted man LARP. It's a LARP from thousands of years ago. Jesus already came. The truth was already said. And for thousands of years, man has been LARPing, trying to create their own little kingdom with either this or that ism. And in that way, it does become a fight of monotheistic religions. It becomes a fight of words. It becomes a fight of ideas, of isms, of resources, of money, of borders. But that's for the world. And man has been trying to LARP and create their own little kingdom ever since. Whether it's like occultism, and if you notice, they've just all been remixing Jesus' words. So I want to express some more of this thinking. I want to express some more of what I'm saying here. I'm going to look at you guys here in the chat. My calls, I'll get to all of you, 888-775-3773. But it's these corrupted values, power, tribalism, anger, evil, temptation. You see that in what Jeffrey Epstein's talking about. You'll say, no, it's not corrupted values, it's the Jews. Like Jews are the only ones that do that become tribal, that become all that thing. How can you say they're the root of all that? The root of communism, the root of... And look, maybe there's some history I don't know. No, you don't understand. They have a deeply they're deeply connected to the civil rights and the I asked this question sincerely. Does that history matter? I mean, now the Mexicans are communists. You see what I'm saying? Like, how important is that? Maybe it is important to some degree, but how important is it? It's these corruptive values, and on this word goyim. This was interesting. This one was interesting because you got Jeffrey Epstein in these emails, and the like confirmed ones, because there's a bunch of fake stuff. I was telling you what it is and what it isn't yesterday. You could podcast that show. They're using these words. They're using goyim, and people are like, "Wow, so that's how they see us." It's true. And I gotta say, as the Jews became viral on the internet, the Jews are like, "No, that's such a lie. We don't say that." Jews, you want to explain? You know what I'm saying? Like, but what was revealed is not what you think, in my opinion. Because check this out. Like, I think you need to grow up a little bit. You'll call out the blacks all day, but one person says goy, and you lose your mind. Let me explain my thinking a bit. Then I want to get to calls, because these are some of the viral emails that supposedly reveals. Honestly, it just reveals this individual's corrupt thinking. Okay. And some other ones are even funnier than you think. So this one is, he's talking to some Roger. I don't know who this guy is. Roger Shank. This is Jeffrey Epstein. He's telling him, he's responding to something, and he's saying, "This is the way Jews make money, and we made a fortune in the past 10 years, selling shorts, shipping futures." He talks about a bunch of economic stuff. "Let the goyim deal in the real world." Now I don't know what he's responding to, but people are like, "Okay, so this is how he sees Christians and others that are non-Jew. This is how he sees them." Well, I don't. It's not that I don't have to like it. It doesn't have to be a good thing. But you're showing me the corrupt thinking of this person. You understand? And it's funny. His corrupt thinking is a lot closer to yours than you'll even admit. Because in other emails, he's talking to some other Jew, I imagine, and they're talking about some party, I think. And this one person is asking, "Is there going to be 100% Jews there?" And he says, "No, goyim in abundance." So it's like, it's going to be a bunch of goyim. But they're J.P. Morgan execs. They're brilliant wasps. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're not all just goyim to him. There's some brilliant ones to him. Isn't that how you think? So when you go around, when you walk into an area and you say, "Well, there's a lot of blacks here," does that mean you want to kill them all? No. You see what I'm saying here? Like, you got racially pilled yesterday. You learned yesterday that people think racially in tribes like that, and you see people using such words privately, and now you're like, whoa, like you didn't say, man, Indians or whatever the other day, and do you want to like destroy? Some of you do. That's terrible. Do you want to like eradicate Indians? No. And I don't agree with his thinking. This is that tribal. This is where I think differently. See, it's not like Jews. It's this tribal, corrupted values of man that comes from the corrupted heart. Evil, anger. This is how all angry, evil people think. I mean, I got more to say. Calls coming in, 888-775-3773. I want to finish this Goyim segment. There was a funny one here where he's talking. It seems like he's talking with a friend, some man named Josh, and Epstein here seems to be angry with it, seems to be unhappy with him. You know, we were friends. We shared our highs and our lows. We shared every single part of my body. Okay, and he seems to be unhappy with him, and he seems like their friendship is ending. It's not good. And at the end here, he says, "You behaved just like the Goyim you do not respect." Right? People just search Goyim in the Epstein files. They're like, "Look, it says Goyim." At one point, he's saying, "Be better." He's not even thinking about subjugating goys, or he's just telling his friend, "Wow, you talk about goys all day, you don't respect them, and look, you're acting just like these people that you see." He was being a chill guy here. He was being a chill guy. Maybe he didn't like those he calls Goyim, but like, I mean, not a nice word to say, maybe, right? It doesn't seem like a nice word to maybe say. But moving on here, man, let's see here. Like, I got more to say. I got some other little tidbits here for you. But I almost want to break it up maybe with some calls. Let me just see here. Let me slow down a bit. We're done with the Goy thing, I think. It's like this. It's like some people had a certain reading of this one, right? Where he was in some meeting with right-wingers, and he's like, what are you guys, what are you right-wing guys so, why are you right-wing guys so anti-Semitic? And apparently one said, historically, we all know it's actually been the Jews behind the governments pulling the strings. I said, like who? They pointed at me with uproaring laughter. I said, me? One guy said, how do you explain in only 3 days there have been princes, prime, and other ministers, plus 2 emissaries, whatever. And he says, guilty, so funny, wish you were here. Like, that's all, like, you can read into that whatever you want. But you would be reading into it. I mean, that's obviously, he's just like saying, I don't think the Jews run everything, but I asked them, and they made a kind of a funny comment. It's true, I do have all these people coming through here. Huh, that's pretty humorous, huh? That's pretty humorous. If you read that and you think, wow, that is the admittance of Jews running everything, that says more about you and how easily someone can control you. I mean, it seems like every day you could criticize the Jews, and if they really do own all the media and all that, which I don't even agree with, I just haven't looked into that, but it seems like just merely talking about it is crumbling. So where was this total power? Where was this so-called total control? It's in your mind. That's where it really is. What else? Let's see, what else? So yeah, it's not IQ. Like, that's not why you were fooled, in my opinion. I think the IQ thing, I think the IQ thing is a lie. I noticed that most of the people using it are just trying to, I haven't looked into it. Maybe IQ is like a real thing, but it's used as a way to say that that's the only way I've seen it used. Mostly, it's like this race is better. I gotta say, to be honest. No, and it's not even about IQ. Like all these different races, they're doing better. the Asians and all this, just look at their IQ and it's like a spectrum. That's not how life is. Life is about it's right or it's wrong. It's not like this spectrum. It's like, well, of course they have more GDP and they're doing better and they have less babies out of wedlock and they do this because they have this IQ, and it's actually like a curve. That's not how life is. Life is, at least how to operate in life. It's about like what's right or wrong, and you end up like carrying all these wrong things and adding to them, and you have a bad life. And you got to drop them all, so the truth may shine. Okay, what else about this? Because we got calls 888-775-3773. One last thing. Am I Epstein's son? Am I Epstein's long lost son? So this, okay, how do we say this one? Basically, I'm trying to be fast here. Prince Andrew had a wife at one point. They divorced, okay? They call her Fergie. Okay, I forget her name. But they call her Fergie. She is the mother. Fergie is the mother of Beatrice and Eugenie, okay? And Beatrice and Eugenie they say they're aghast. They're aghast at new Epstein revelations. See, their mother had a cozy relationship, or seemingly cozy relationship. They have a number of emails where she's calling him a legend, the brother I never had, and all these things, right? And one of these, and then there's this correspondence shows what seems to be a fallout between them. At some point, she starts saying, hey, I knew it. You were just trying to get close to me, to get close to my husband or ex-husband, Prince Andrew. And the emails show, the correspondence show a breakdown in relationship. At some point, Miss Fergie sends another email congratulating Epstein for a son. Now, in the files that were released, I forget which governing body makes it clear that they believe this Fergie said that not because he actually had a son, but it was her attempt to get Epstein to reopen communication with her because they had a falling out. That's what they believe. They believe that that's why she said that. So it's not that he actually has a long lost son, but maybe, but it's inconclusive. It's inconclusive right now. As it stands, it's inconclusive. Does he have a long lost son? So some enterprising individuals have created a website, okay? They've created, so an enterprising individual out there wants to find the long lost son of where is this? Wait, hold on. The long lost son of Epstein, okay? And they're going to use it, they're going to do it through technology. They're using DNA. They're asking the public, if you believe that you're the unknown child of the late Jeffrey Epstein, to get in touch with them, okay? But they're trying to locate the missing and possible multiple heirs because he was just so promiscuous, it's hard to know. That's their claim. So, what do you think, chat? Do I kind of look like him? You think I could? The thing is, my DNA, I don't know if it says Jewish. Maybe it's in there somewhere. I do have to say, I don't quite, this is not a credible website, just so you know, at all. Our approach, it says, at law firm, we specialize in bringing the law to your corner. It seems like they didn't even change the like basic ChatGPT bio here. At law firm. You mean Morse Genealogical Services? Law firm has been working to, this is not a credible website, folks, but if you didn't know, if I had to make that clear for you. But we'll find out, okay? I'm on the mission. I want to know the truth. Who's my daddy? If it's Epstein, then so be it. I just want to know. I just want to be one with my father, my earthly father, so that I might know my father above. All right, folks. I appreciate the patience. 888-775-3773. I want to get to some of my calls here. Thanks for the patience. I want to get to Art out of Ohio. How you doing, Art?
What's up with Nick?
Hey, you're on the air. How you doing?
I'm all right. So first thing first, the Epstein thing. I think with Epstein, I think I kind of, now tell me if I'm on the same page with you. You from yesterday a little bit. I'm gonna try to rub in what you were saying yesterday into today and what I'm understanding. You sound like you basically think that they overdoing the Epstein, they making it more salacious than what it is.
Yep.
You see the media or whatnot, and they just trying to get everybody caught up in it or whatnot. The liberals are trying to basically come at the conservatives and say that, oh, Trump is on there or whatnot, not understanding it. You trying to get Trump, and he ain't even really up on it, but all the people that's up on it is the people on your side, the liberal side, the Democratic side. And if we looking at it like, why are y'all? We looking at it like, well, y'all was in office all that time and y'all wasn't even talking about the Epstein thing. Trump getting in office, that's all he been trying to do is get the Epstein thing out or whatnot. But it seems like how he's doing it is he's not rushing to do it. He's slowly letting it leak out. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know about the speed, but for sure that is an interesting thing about this is an old thing. He's been dead for 6 years, been investigated for 20 plus, was in like jail before, then the second of it, right? Democrats have been in power a bunch of times throughout that. And
when he was doing what he was doing, they was in power. Go ahead.
Right. No, I'm just adding to what you're saying. And there was no touch up. There was nothing about it. Like, hey, we got to find the corruption. And so basically, yeah, just to add to what you're saying. And they had all this time to have something on Trump.
You got all this time, and that's where they don't understand the hypocrite. As much as y'all been coming at Trump the last 10 years, it wouldn't be no Jeffrey Epstein if y'all was watching the right person allegedly. If y'all for protecting children or whatnot, and this go ahead, I'm just listening now.
No, I'm with you, man. That's why they did it, because they don't have anything, and it's and they're just as implicated.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All of it manifested under them while they was in office. Because he allegedly was. If you look at all the people that's been around, and I'm speculating and guessing that they mostly Democrats and liberals.
A whole bunch.
And I ain't gonna even, because I'm looking at it like this. Okay, what I think Jeffrey Epstein, and this is what I'm speculating. I think Jeffrey Epstein was just like somebody who was a freak. He was out messing with kids. I think he understood and got the game early to where he basically knew how to position himself to where he has leverage over people, meaning that he would get them to come to these parties and he would tape them. And when he would tape them, he would use that, basically set them up with underage kids knowingly and unknowingly, just so he can leverage power over people in the rap industry, the movie industry, politics. And I think you got people like Trump that understood and knew what he was doing, and he always kept himself away from. And basically with Jeffrey Epstein, he got a lot of his power from the leverage. And I think that he outgrew his britches. You see what I'm saying? What goes up comes down.
I think there's a lot of implication and stuff. It's there's a lot of implies. There's a lot of suggestive stuff in all that. Maybe even leads for this or that, but nothing conclusive, nothing in any way. Like that's credible. And think about it like this. I heard someone say this the other day, and it's so true, because if Epstein is, and again, there's a lot of like implication and suggestiveness for these things. And what I mean is sex and maybe somewhat blackmail. But let's say, take it further, he's like a super spy. Why would there be an email or something that's so explicit like that? If he's a super spy, he got rid, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no, there's no smoking gun. It's just a bunch of implications.
Yeah,
And
these
and that's even saying a lot at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking. Yeah, well, a lot more has to come out, and I mean, you only looking at the emails. We got to put all this together. It seems like it's a lot to put together. You see what I'm saying? And it's a lot, just like I think what you just said. It's a lot of assuming.
Yeah, a lot of
I feel like it's a lot of
maybe, but it's nothing conclusive.
Well, shoot, I mean, it's hard to take the left serious anyways when you look at all the stuff that they've been caught red-handed in, especially with the fraud and the scamming or whatnot, and the pandering and the hypocrisy, where they think that we ain't watching the same videos and hearing the same stuff that they hearing to where they propagandize and tell you what you heard versus me telling them what we heard. We all heard. They want to tell you what you heard. You like, hold up, how you gonna tell me what I heard off the same thing that you heard? They want to dictate what you see and what you hear. So it's hard to take a lot of this serious, but I know from what I have been seeing with a lot of this feminist movement is that they promote a lot of this pedophilia or whatnot, and then when they get tired and you expand the board whatnot, then that's when they try to come after you like that. You see what I'm saying? So they let the stuff happen with R. Kelly and Jeffrey Epstein because they was profiting and benefiting from it, but when it don't benefit them, then they want to try to throw them up under the bus and act like they wasn't rolling with him.
Yeah, that's like, I was describing that too. I was describing how, you get these people who at one point call him such a nice guy and will then afterwards flip on that because of it's really guilt more than anything than actual than all the like criminal embellishment they say. They have to lie to say that he was like a rapist and all this other stuff to like get around the fact that they were willing participants. But as a willing participant, their guilt comes. It's really their guilt that has them flip on them like that. But the guilt is coming from knowing it was all a dirty game. It really, even as nice as he may have been. Yeah. And a lot of that, a little of this and a lot of that. Because I just think that they was in from him. You see that with Aaliyah and R. Kelly. You see what I'm saying? It benefited them to put her around him at that point in time because it was going to help blow her up. And he was the hottest producer at that time. And he was the man. He had the look. He had the slim jawline. He could sing. He was dark-skinned. He was from Chicago. He was fitting that demographic at that time to where the black females, and he had the liberal white females to where everybody was digging him at the time. So Aaliyah was expandable at that time. So everybody turned their head at that time when allegedly all that stuff was going on with him and Aaliyah. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not familiar with the details, but that sounds good. Let me ask really quick, and then I gotta keep moving here. Just because you brought up R. Kelly, for some reason I want to ask you this, because this was recently brought up on Punchy TV. Someone super chatted and asked, from youngest to oldest, what are your thoughts on OJ? Was OJ guilty or innocent, and MJ guilty or innocent? So they asked us that. Yeah, I guess really quick, and we'll add R. Kelly in. OJ guilty or innocent? R. Kelly guilty or innocent? and MJ.
Michael Jackson.
And Michael Jackson.
Was OJ guilty or innocent? I would never know yay or nay because the evidence was tainted or whatnot. Is R. Kelly guilty? Yeah, I think he's guilty, but not as guilty as much as what they making it seem like he's guilty of. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like the intent of if you murder somebody, what was your intent? You see what I'm saying? Did you intentionally do it, or was it an accident or whatnot? You see what I'm saying? And that's what I say about R. Kelly or whatnot. Like a lot of people that he probably been charged with, the intent that victim had was to mess with R. Kelly because they was benefiting from. So I do think R. Kelly is guilty, but not as guilty as much as what they making him seem like. And I think that Michael Jackson is innocent. I can't understand how the feds would be investigating Michael Jackson for 10 years and then find nothing on him. No dang on different than how they've been trying to allegedly investigate Trump for collusion with Russia, and you never still heard nothing about it. Let alone you had the kids, Macaulay Culkin and the other kids come out and say that he ain't never touched them or whatnot. And this is back in the day. Plus, you had the bodyguards that came out and said that how Michael was a good dude. Plus, you had people that said that it was white people that was coming to them and trying to get, they was going to pay them, like rich other people that was probably in the industry and had stuff the game for Michael Jackson going down, meaning his Beatles catalog and any other assets. Because you got to remember, Michael Jackson at that time was like one of the biggest artists. He was outbidding like people like Sony. That's why I think he owns some of Sony, if I'm mistaken. I don't want to speak on what I don't know, but I think they said he owned a little bit of Sony, or he bought into Sony or whatnot. Bam. So where did you have people, other rich people out there that was investing, trying to get people to come out and lie and say that Michael Jackson did that? All them things against him. If somebody is doing all this, you wouldn't have people out there trying to set traps. If you out here the type of dude that walks into these traps easily like that anyway. Only thing Michael Jackson messed himself up with is that when that happened the first time, he should have pulled himself away. You see what I'm saying? As far as with being around kids. But no, I don't think Michael Jackson is guilty.
Thanks, Art. Appreciate your call. Can you call me again?
Yes. Can I say one more thing, too?
Of course.
Okay, so if you in the room, Nick, you in the room and say you got a basketball, you in the room, it's only one window. If you hold that basketball in front of your head, in front of the window, one side is going to have the light on it because it's closer to the window. One side is not going to have light on it because it's dark. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So if you rotate that ball slowly, the side that is on your side of your face or whatnot will slowly be exposed to the other side that's light, that has light on it. When I'm saying all this is pertaining to your flat earthers or whatnot, can't nobody explain to me what the flat earth community is, why it's dark or why it's light where I'm at and then it's dark in China or whatnot. We can see this, I think, with videos where they show how the sun rises, and we all see the sun rise. So you do that experiment at the house and you tell me if that makes sense how the sun rises.
So true, Art. That's such a good common sense, because even it's like even if it's a so-called local light, it doesn't make sense. The sun doesn't disappear. It sets. It goes down. It sets on the horizon. I love the common sense, Art. So true. Can you call me again?
Catch you later. Yep.
888-775-3773. Gonna get right back to my calls. I asked him about MJ. I feel like what I said on Punchy was really ignorant. Shout out MJ, I guess. Flurf catching strays. I want to get right back to my calls. 888-775-3773. Thank you for the patience. I want to get to JC out of Canada. Shout out. How you doing on the air?
Yo, man, what's up with your guy from Muskoka?
What's up with my guy from what? Oh.
Yo, man, what's up with your guy from Muskoka?
Who's that?
Come on. You got to know your Yiddish, buddy.
I don't.
When you get called a goy, buddy, that's like the N-word. And racial slurs, every culture has them. There's some pretty creative ones. There's some funny ones in Spanish. But it's all with the intent. I don't care if they call me a goy, whatever. I'm down with that.
You're down.
And
you're down with that?
Yeah, like I recognize it. It's all about the intent. Are you meaning to demean me? Are you trying to hurt me? Are you trying to get a rise out of me?
Like you could be, like you could be my goyim. Like you could be my goy.
Yeah, like I'll be your little goyim.
And that's not necessarily like. I'm trying to make it like the N-word, right? Like they say that positively.
They all have it. I don't see anything salacious about it, other than the fact of the whole kitty fondling kind of behavior.
And you're talking about now, Epstein using that word and all that. You're saying that's not like salacious or anything. Yeah,
that means nothing. That's nothing on the book of horrible
why do you say
shit.
That? Explain your thinking.
Because it's a slur. It's a slur, and I think what we should be focusing on is the context of how it would use. And like the whole context of the whole thing, where like they're trying to slowly drip this out and drag it out as slowly as possible. because there's enough pressure for it. But this guy has made a career of insulating himself from consequences, and there's the record to prove it, right? I think they're just slowly dripping this stuff to minimize the damage because they know the association between Epstein and Trump is, they were homeboys, they're party boys from New York. Everybody knows that. That's not like a big secret. And I always say it. I'm like, I would not be surprised if further down the road we get a PP tape. I am pretty sure it exists out there somewhere in the realm. That? Oh yeah, man. Of course, that's Buddy Putin's MO, buddy.
That's not smart. That's not good. That's not a sound thinking.
Oh no, but like it makes sense. It makes absolute. Okay, let me ask you a question. How many?
Before you ask me that question, do you admit that? Do you agree though that out of all the things you're saying, there's slow dripping it and all that. Yes, there's pressure. I think that's why there's slow dripping it and all that.
Oh yeah.
Maybe there's nasty things, but put it like this. Do you admit? Do you agree with me? You have to admit that so far the only thing that's really been proven is Trump's fallout with Epstein.
Well, because that's his homeboy and he's implicated on it.
But being a homeboy doesn't mean a PP tape or all the things you're saying. So can we agree on one thing? The only real credible thing that's come out is that Epstein and Trump had a fallout. Will you agree on that?
My wish on the PP tape and my suspicion is that it's not the Americans that have it.
That being said, that being said though, your thinking of that
how many coincidences?
There's no
how many coincidences?
Can we agree on one thing though? There is evidence. The only thing that there is evidence for is their fallout. That's the only aspect that's really come out so far.
Evidence is that the suspicions were out there that people had. They are true. A lot of the victims are there. There's journals from like 16-year-olds with ciphered letters to Epstein and all this stuff. It sort of confirms how filthy and disgusting these people were, but it also puts okay, is it justice for all after all, or is it like some more justice for some than others? Right, that's what's being tested there. Are we going to have? Because
you mean the diary that was implying that they got pregnant?
Stuff, everything that has come out, all the letters, all the emails.
Let's pick one though. Let's pick like the one you said. Are you talking about that diary that
from a 16-year-old
that implied that she got pregnant or something like that, and it had those cutouts of those images? So this is what I was talking about yesterday. That one was just an anonymous. That diary was just a random anonymous thing that was sent into the FBI, man.
Yeah.
Like in 2019, I believe. I could be wrong.
I mean, I can't imagine how any other 16-year-old
upon hearing that info, do you question his credibility or no?
I think it's part of an investigation, and it's sort of like the dump. So a problem in intelligence is not so much acquiring the intel, but sifting through it, whether it's usable or not, whether it's actionable or not.
The FBI themselves didn't find that a credible lead to follow. What do you think about that?
Nobody in the history of Florida ever got the deal Epstein got from the AG, from the state AG.
Okay,
nobody after the investigation, and it's not like this guy is.
But that
nobody.
Doesn't answer what you're you see how you're switching topics. You see, I'm not denying blackmail. I'm not denying something sordid, but you're the one who made a claim, and it's absolutely false, and it's like verifiably false. So how am I? That's not. It's showing us. You're showing us your bad thinking.
Well, I don't think. I ask, how many coincidences make a fact? How many things have to point me in the right direction?
Stick to the topic. The diary you're talking about that you talked about as fact.
Oh, we're picking a single thing. I'm not looking at
the diary
you picked
as fact was a random anonymous thing thrown in that the FBI didn't consider credible to follow at all. Does that change your thinking at all?
It's not that it doesn't. it's part of the investigation, and it's the first question we should be asking: what was in the investigation?
Let me tell you what else is part of the so-called investigation. Anonymous tips that people sent in.
Material, yeah.
AI generated photos that are obviously fake. That's also so you could say that's part of the investigation, quote unquote.
They sift through those, and those are detectable.
But those are in the files that were released that everybody's tripping about, and you're doing the same thing. You're saying this diary, which was an anonymous thing, thrown in like 2019.
I'm saying it's not the first time an allegation like that shows up, and it's not just the diary thing. I picked one thing just to give you an idea. I'm not focusing on the granular thing, right? I'm not focusing on that one thing. I think there's so many things that have been thrown at this to see what sticks that it becomes difficult to sift through what is actual something that may have happened, and then someone else just submitting malicious, bad intent, bad faith.
It doesn't bother you that you're standing on like this is what amounts to as like a standard of evidence for you. You're saying there's been a lot of these kinds of allegations, though, Nick, but you don't realize that
and he was convicted.
These so-called large, numerous ones are just from like a few years ago. What has been viral in the news? Epstein has. They make AI things all day about him. And so you got all these tips.
There's so many
irregularities.
Nick, look at all this
smoke. But all this smoke is from people memeing on it. Like they're memeing on the FBI. There's no credible things from the earlier investigations of like children. You're saying
come on,
children.
Look who the FBI director
is. There's no thing on children. You're saying babies? There's no evidence of that. You think so? What do you think Epstein was doing? Was he like a Satanist pedophile, or was he blackmailing people? Like, which one is it?
Both. That's how you blackmail
crazy,
and produce compromise on individuals. You compromise them. You put them in a worse position. There was a tape of
but there's no babies.
Ehud Barak.
There's no evidence of that. What are you talking about?
I'm not talking about babies and stuff. I'm talking about somebody who spent a lot of time and money and effort and treasure collecting these connections, these personal connections, to be able to trade with foreign intelligence services. Maxwell's father.
I'm not denying that.
Let's not fool ourselves, right?
You're bringing up a slightly different thing.
Around it.
Because I'm not denying such a thing, and there's a lot of implication and conjecture of such things. Now you'll come in. You'll come in.
I was originally going to talk to you, but
with way more conclusive stuff than it is, far more conclusive than it actually is. But yeah, there's a lot of implications and stuff for sure. And this is the thinking of the FBI going back a long time ago. So yeah, for sure.
And also this stuff, this guy operated under both administrations. This is not like a Clinton only thing. No, this is George Bush era too, right? Like that, this happened throughout and the guy was able to pull a lot of weight and get this case dismissed. Actually, I think there were two cases. One of them, actually, he did end up having to pay, but like it's an allegation still. And how many of this do you need to accrue to be able to hey, kind of figure it out? And in your comparison, I give more slack to Michael Jackson. I think he had some mental thing. He just wanted to be a kid.
Okay, that's what it was.
I think he was asexual, in my opinion. But whatever.
I was saying something like, I don't know. I said it was ignorant. I was like, I don't know. I'm going to be a rebel, and everybody says he didn't, but he was kind of weird, right? So maybe he did.
Yeah,
but I didn't know anything about Michael. Like that was like I was like a kid when that was all that was happening.
Also, there's the idea that part of the operation, the PSYOP, is to just muddy the waters, divide us, get us bickering about stuff that is completely irrelevant. And I think it's getting that, at least that one point I'll give them. Like, man, everybody's losing their mind, and there's so much garbage out there, so polluted, that it's becoming more difficult to navigate and get good information.
And
I'll say that much.
People are they're just really easily, they're just easily fooled, and they have bad thinking, man. Did you see? We spoke about a few things, but did we even? I forget if we spoke about this, but I was expressing yesterday in this latest dump of files. Did you see all the people tripping about things that were merely anonymous tips, or are you thinking, or are you feeling like that? Because you just, I'm like wondering what you think, because you were just saying, but Nate, no, how many allegations does there have to be until it's actual evidence? But I guess we're going back to that. If I may again, though, everybody's tripping about, like, for example, anonymous tips. Like anonymous tips in 2019 saying Trump diddled a girl like this. Do you believe that stuff?
I mean, I do.
But that's not right thinking, man. How is it?
Okay, listen, there's this guy named Castle Knoll, and he was one of the producers of The Apprentice. And this guy will stand to your face, will tell you stories that I guarantee you he'll stand up and he'll swear and tell you stories about Donald Trump on the set and how he functioned, and I'm putting that in air quotes, for shooting. And Trump is a very litigious person. Trump will sue you in a heartbeat if he doesn't like you, right? He'll make your life miserable. Just the fact bringing you up for something like that, he'll ruin your day, let alone your year. Trump will not do anything against this guy because everything this guy is saying, yeah, it's true. I believe the guy. I believe that guy, that producer that says all these things, then the current POTUS we got. I'll take it anytime. Yeah, I operate on a different wavelength where I'm not a MAGA dude. I remember the last Republicans that existed died with John McCain. Everything after that was just muddied.
John McCain?
Muddied bad actors. Yeah, bro. I remember I feeling so bad.
You're saying he was the last true Republican? You're talking about...
He was the last bastion of true Republican, actual values, small government.
You are talking about the guy who got himself captured. Right?
He didn't get himself caught. He was a POW decorated
like that?
War veteran. Of course, Trump.
Captain
Bone Spurs.
He was a Trump
How many
hater.
deferments did Trump get?
How is he the last Republican if he was a Trump hater?
Trump got? Huh? I'm sorry?
How could he be the last true Republican if he's a Trump hater?
Oh, because Trump's not a Republican, man. Trump is Trump. Trumpism is MAGA and is a thing in and of itself. Yeah, that's I have a very good book that I would recommend, guys. Active Measures.
Let's send that to me.
Oh, everybody should.
Send the book name to me instead of we don't.
We'll share for everybody.
We don't plug random things, but send it to me.
A book. Just it's very.
Don't name it. Just send it to me.
No names. No problem. Yeah. And it'll put a lot of context and stuff. And yeah, man, just
fascinating.
If you guys are too worried about not many white people in America making America brown, then white people, y'all need to start making some babies. And I'm winning by one, so get on it.
Winning? What do you mean by winning by one?
Oh yeah, I'm a daddy, bro. I'm a single dad.
But what do you mean by winning by one?
I'm winning by one.
What do you mean? Like you're beating the whites?
Oh yeah.
But what does that mean?
Even though
beat the
I'm
whites by
passing.
one, you mean like I'm beating you in this friendly game? I want you guys to have kids too, but it's no big deal. Or are you saying I'm beating you by one and I'm replacing you?
Yeah, I'm replacing you because my baby's gonna vote. I'm going to move
Canada,
legislation so babies can vote.
Deport this guy. Vote. This guy's a cultural enemy.
Let baby.
He wants
vote.
to replace you. What the? But you brought up something funny though. I appreciate your call, sir. Big time.
No
but
problem.
What was I gonna say? I forget.
Come on, it must have been something important.
It was something funny / interesting.
Come on, young man.
What about Japan? What about like, okay, yeah, sure, they got to make babies, they're being replaced and all that. And you're saying, and the way you put it, it's like there's this it's like a dichotomy here. It's like either you make the babies and don't get replaced, or you don't, or you make them, and you make them and don't get replaced, or you don't, you do.
And you make.
What about a third option?
Hello.
That implies that those are your only options. But what about like Japan, like a shrinking? It's like, no. How about no? We don't need them to pick the fruits and all that. We're going to shrink we're going to allow a shrinking of the population of the GDP, but we're going to maintain the cultural purity, so to speak.
Well,
your
what
dialectic
culture is
implies
there?
that's the only options. What did you think about that third one?
What sort of American culture is there to preserve after, like, what's left?
Yeah, you're right, man. It's like gone. It's like, that's what you're saying, right? You're saying
Yeah,
the whites are gone.
We
now.
used to have
That's what you're saying, right?
something.
You agree the American culture is white, but you're saying they're missing. That's what you're saying, right?
It was white led, but the cool thing
You are
about it
admitting
was
it's white, though,
that it
right?
was inclusive. No, it was white led. It was a Protestant work ethic and reflected in political action. I wouldn't want to bore people with that. It just means that the leadership was white guys, Protestant guys that had access to the land and got to say and vote. Right? That's how it was back in the day. We've been slowly changing. We expanded votes. We expanded rights, but we didn't do what Japan did, which is they don't focus on rights, or China there's no idea of human rights or rights. They focus law on responsibilities, which if you look at Lady Justice, that's what it's supposed to be on the balance. On one side you have rights, and on the left you have responsibilities. Japanese and Asian cultures tend to focus towards the responsibility and focus on be based on an honor code. We don't. The revolver democratized violence and firepower, and the Westerns are a typical reflection of that. The Indian killer, the Battle of the Wild West.
Amazing white
that
people.
Used to be part of Americana, man. Marlboro Man, and
what an amazing thing they did, and then everybody else came and just took advantage.
They copied it.
We're gonna
copied
do
it,
this
and they dismantled it after peace.
We're gonna do this white-led human rights, and then everybody came to like, look at these idiots talk about human rights. Let's just care about our own race.
Weaponized. Those were weaponized against us. So we're basically, our own rights are being used to hurt us, and it is from bad actors. It is not. I laugh at people that think that Putin is this great white Christian bastion of Christendom in the Slavic world, where it's disgusting. He uses the Russian Orthodox Church as an extension of his intelligence apparatus, and everywhere they go, it's trouble. They're always chasing military bases, airports, strategic communication nodes. That's where they'll put their mega churches, where they just sit empty. They don't do anything. They're just big, ghostly buildings in the middle of nowhere. And they're allowed to do it because they're a church and they pay no taxes. So, awesome.
This guy's a bulldog for his people. I mean, it causes friction, sure, if you align yourself as an opposing regime. But that's part of the friction.
I'm glad
he's tough for his people, and
like
some of these other guys, like Xi Jinping and Netanyahu.
I pray for the day that I can have one of those big red bricks from the Kremlin, and that Moscovia gets reduced to its minimum expression, and all those small countries that are ruled under the Russian and ex-Soviet thumb get freedom and get recognized as free people, and they get to speak their language. They don't get Russified. So it's not just about only Ukraine. It's about a lot of nations. They don't want to be Russians. The Russians have it by force.
I don't know. Why do you? I don't know personally, but why do you care so much about that? I wait for the day. What are you like?
What are you
like?
Hey, let me
did like a Soviet era Marxist, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like appear in the body of a like a Colombian immigrant in Canada, because it doesn't even make sense for you to care about the day. I wait for the day the Russification ends. It's like, what is going on?
Because those are the same people, for example, that started in Colombia FARC. They believe the same commie garbage. That's why it's the same people. I saw that metastasized in Venezuela with Chavez. That's a Soviet era playbook. He was the Colombian. The only difference is that he used Simón Bolívar as a symbol to unify people that were pissed off about their current political regime. So he took advantage of that. It's the same garbage, bro. Venezuela is the same garbage as Cuba. It's the same garbage as North Korea. They're just different flavors, different translations, different cultural tints, but it's the same garbage. You need a common enemy. You need people that operate outside the law. There's no equality before the law. Some people have access to justice, some others don't. And it's usually something based either on racist or ethnic division. That's how they win. That's the only way it's a plague. It's a plague of bad
Trump
ideas.
is the opposite of that. Why don't you love him?
I'm sorry?
I think Trump's the opposite of that. You don't love him?
Oh, Trump is Trump. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it at. I don't have a good impression of 32 count felon Trump. Not at all. I know I'm old enough to know better. That's the thing. I have a burden in my head that I'm too old. I'm way older than I seem. So I remember. I have a memory. My brain I haven't gotten to brain rot. I haven't been on 4chan in decades. So, like, my brain has healed. And I actually got a library card with peer-reviewed crap. So, oh, yeah, I graduated from McMaster, by the way. I forgot to mention.
You said
I don't know if that's news to you.
What?
Graduation from McMaster. I was like, send me my diploma. That's it. I'm done.
Wow, McMaster University. Shout out. Yeah, that's in Hamilton.
And my diploma is just sitting there because I make bank running heavy equipment. So, yeah, get into the trades, guys. God was a carpenter. He was a tradesman.
You said God was a carpenter?
Oh, yeah, God was a carpenter.
What do you mean by God was a carpenter?
Oh, to me, God, Jesus was. I'm a Jesus freak, by the way.
What's that mean?
I don't know if you. I follow and try to follow the example of Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior.
Interesting. You say he's God?
He's part of the Holy Trinity, yeah. Roman Catholic background still pulls, so, I reject modernity. I go back to roots.
What the? Interesting, man. We got to talk about it more maybe next time.
Yeah.
Again?
Anyway, peddlers, kitty fondlers to the wood chipper, forever we my rallying cry.
I think you're making stuff up. Call me again, man.
For sure.
Question, I think, from the audience. What religion do you practice? I think maybe this question was from before you said, you're a Jesus freak.
I don't practice really. I don't congregate. So I'll read, but I don't congregate. My background is Roman Catholic, and but I'm not a churchgoer at all. I don't congregate. I don't proselytize either. I don't try to convince people, hey, come here, join the dark side. No. But yeah, it's a personal relationship with God. That's what you got to seek. And yeah, good
Did
for
he
you,
say
man.
He was God?
Who?
Jesus,
I'm the Son of God. Yeah.
He said he was God?
Lamb of God. Yeah, I think he's part of my God.
No, but did Jesus say he was God?
I don't know. Did he?
I don't think he did.
I think he was the Messiah. Yeah, he was the Messiah. He was I take him as the true prophet. So I reject Islam. I reject all other interpretations, and also I take that relationship with God is personal. You should be the one that is deciding this, not letting other people, hey, you got to show up and give me your 10%. Yeah.
Call me again, JC. I'd like to talk about all this more.
Hey, thanks for passing me the talking stick.
Big time, man. Call me again. 888-775-3773. Yeah. He's a commie Catholic, okay? Don't overcomplicate it. Okay, it's very simple. He's a commie Catholic? I don't know. I'm not an expert. I don't think he said he's God. But all right, folks. 888-775-3773. A number of things there. What are y'all saying here? Let me see. Appreciate the super chats. Thank you for the support. Okay, thank you. Very nice. Buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. Thank you for that. Barbecue Pringle with another one. Thank you. Says, on the cusp of a space age and ascension, whites will continue to work towards their own enslavement and destruction. Barbecue Pringle, thank you. I think that what they're saying is that whites, or maybe humanity's on the cusp of space age ascension. Yet they work towards their own enslavement and destruction. What the? Thank you. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Thank you for the support. What are y'all saying? What are y'all saying? Amazing. All right, hold on. What are y'all saying? What are y'all saying? I feel like I'm just looking at the chat for the first time. Okay. Because you're not allowed to. Why can't we know the name of the book? You can't plug stuff on the show I'm not familiar with. I don't, because I just don't know what it is. I'm protecting you. Okay, I'm protecting you. That's all. Alrighty. So what else is going on? We were talking about all this other stuff. Epstein and Melinda Gates. What are you on right now? What are you on? Did your brain get nuked too? Okay. They're like, Bill Gates. You saw some X post. And it's like, did you know Bill Gates was at a satanic ritual with children? And they redacted the number of babies they sacrificed? It's like, Melinda Gates, why are you even speaking on this at all? Did your brain get nuked? This is an ad. This is something else. Lord. This is an ad. Does she know she's an ad? Does she know she's an ad? What is Melinda on about? Let it rest. Yo, you got the money.
Should ever
You
be.
got the divorce. You got the money.
I think we're having a reckoning as a society, right? No girl should ever be put in the situation that they were put in by Epstein and whatever was going on with all of the various people around him. No girl.
This feminist viewing of the whole Epstein thing is such a misdiagnosis. It misses the whole point of it all. It misses everything about it. And it blames just like the men and this misogyny. It's so shallow. She has no reason to even be saying this. Her ex-husband's the divorce already happened. She already made the comment saying, I didn't like it. Okay. And it's all because of it's all for her. You got to understand. Her cult of justice, or what am I trying to say here? Because it's not for her. It was just cheating. Okay, like all we've seen with Gates is like, okay, sounds like you. It looks like you. I mean, what it amounts to. From what the government put out there, and it's like you can understand Trump too now when he's like, I don't know, a lot of people might like get a lot of crap that they don't deserve. But it seems like from what it amounts to, it's like he brought home an STD. So Gates was messing around. I mean, he said that himself pretty much. That's what Gates pretty much said. And so she's you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying here? She's just her high horse amounts to cheating, and it's like, give it a rest, lady. Okay, yeah, but and you see how the feminism turns it into something, and it just isn't. And you got my callers telling me, Nick, yeah, baby diddlers or whatever, children diddlers, put them in the chip machine. So you want to help me understand. You want to put Bill Gates through a wood chipper because his ex-wife was mad about the cheating and wants to lie and say feminism and children are the victims of men here. Do you see how your whole worldview is shallow? You're not thinking, man, and you're following a woman. You're following women into hell.
I mean,
okay, do you see this? Okay, he cheated on you. Okay, give it a rest.
All of the various people around him. No girl. I mean, it's beyond heartbreaking, right? I remember being those ages those girls were. I remember my daughter.
So you're jealous.
Being those ages, right? So for me, it's personally hard whenever those details come up, right? Because brings back memories of some very, very painful times in my marriage, but I have moved on from that. I purposely
No, you haven't.
Pushed it away, and I moved on.
No, you didn't.
I'm in a really
You're jealous of those young girls.
Unexpected, beautiful place in my life. So
that's why you divorced him. If you weren't jealous of those young girls, you wouldn't have divorced him.
Whatever questions
Am I lying?
remain
Tell me
there
I'm
of what
lying.
I can't even begin to know all of it. Those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband. They need to answer to those things, not me.
Well,
and I am so happy to be away from all the muck that was there.
I have to put more words to the muck for context for our listeners. The email,
please, context, help us.
Emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection.
You knew that already. You already knew that, Melinda. You're like, oh my gosh. And then they call you to do the podcast. Like, oh my gosh, this got revealed. You already knew that, Melinda. This is wrong. You fell in for temptation. They called you for the podcast and the Epstein file drop. You're not saying anything new or special or insightful or anything. You're saying nothing. You fell for temptation. This is what you're doing with your freedom and money, Melinda Gates?
And that he was going to give you the medicine without...
Further, more crap on the father. And the kids are just watching this like, what podcast did mom go on today? This is what you're doing with your freedom and money, huh?
Without you knowing.
What
His
a mess.
representative has said
You're a
all
mess,
of this.
Melinda Gates. You should be ashamed. I want to get to calls 888-775-3773. Wait, hold on.
Is false. It is not on you to have to respond to the details.
Oh my God, that's right. The thing about that too is that whatever, Bill Gates, it's like saying that's false. Those emails are false. By the way, that's the official statement from Gates, from Bill Gates and his side. He's saying it's not true. And she goes on a podcast over that? What? You're a bad person. Let me go on a podcast over allegations now. I forget what she even says in that, but I don't care. I do not care. I thought she already knew all that. But anyways. Yeah, I see Satan, yeah. She said she's over it, Nick. It must be true. I'm over it. I'm over it. I just care about all these other girls. I'm just championing for other women. I want to get to Jermaine out of Canada. I appreciate your call. You're on the air. Jermaine.
Hey, Nick.
How you doing, sir?
Hello?
Coming in clear.
How are you, sir?
All is well, thanks.
Nice. I missed most of your show. Busy man. But
no worries.
I was calling in. I saw that on the weekend that the couple that had the IVF and they end up with the black baby.
Holy. That is
I thought
crazy.
it was so funny. Now they want to sue the clinic that did it to them. But my thing is, what do you think about that?
Well, it's crazy because Now, none of this was exactly said in the report we were watching, but I'm making maybe some assumptions here, but I think what's the word? I think like officially, so to speak, that is their baby, you know? That is, they raised it for a number of years, whatever, I forget what else, but I think, so to speak, officially, that's like their baby. So what they're essentially suing for is, I don't want this baby, right? So I'm wondering, where does the legality stand there? And do they even get to say that? I mean, I think there can be a case made either way. If they were to bring that baby to the original biological parents, I think they could say, well, I don't want it. And it's like, it becomes a big mess. It becomes a big freaking mess. And so I don't know what to think about it. It's just that's not a situation I'd want to be in for sure. And I don't think that's their baby. That's not their baby.
It's a mess, man. When I saw the story on the weekend, I'm like, what a mess, because they waited too long to have baby, and now they have to go the medical way. And I mean, you get what you get, right? So I mean, they carried the baby for 9 months, and now you have the baby. I mean, what does it matter now that it's a black baby? I mean, you guys wanted a baby and you got one. What are you complaining about now?
That's a bit of a stretch. Everybody wants their baby. That's not their baby, I don't think.
Keep the baby.
Which is so funny, right? Because they almost, if I remember from the report that was played on the JLP show, they had to throw in how every day, you hear this? They were saying in that clip that we played that they had to throw in this statement how the couple was saying every day they fall in love more and more with this baby. That's not theirs, right?
Uh-huh.
That's just like a crazy thing they had to throw in, though, huh? They had to throw that in because it's like they're trying to, because it would be politically incorrect to say, well, I don't want this baby, so to speak.
I see what you're saying.
But yeah, they had to say every day I fall more in love with this baby because they don't want the baby.
Yeah, and I think they were saying that they want an investigation on the entire clinic of the past 2 years, that the different babies that have passed through, because they want to make sure that everyone got the right baby, and to make sure no one ended up with the wrong baby. But I see what you're saying. They're saying we love this baby because they don't want to come off racist,
Bingo.
And then get judged, and then now they're going to be painted as the bad people.
Yep. But if they don't overcome that, they might get stuck with it. They won't be able, because if they're not hardcore with it, not that they have to be mean. I'm just saying, if you're weak to that, if some part of you is weak, like, no, I know this it's a mix up and all that, but I fall in love with it more every day. I'm not racist. What if they pin it on you? It's like, well, then keep the baby. No. But you said you fall in love with it more every day. What do you not want it? Why? Why don't you want it? It's like, because it's a black baby. That's not my baby. If you can't say that part, then you know what I'm saying? You might get stuck with it.
Yeah. But I mean, but why did they wait it so late that they need IVF to,
I don't know,
to have this baby now,
Yeah, usually you do that because you can't do it naturally, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, it's unnatural. So, I mean, maybe this is a way that you're kind of getting punished for the way you went about it. Right? You're actually punishing yourself.
Yeah, like the punishment is the punishment is packaged in the action. For sure.
Yeah, and that's why a couple months ago when Trump they're supporting these females that are out here working, and they wait too late to have baby, and they're supporting them with IVF, and I'm like, I don't support that, but I don't support it, but I mean, it is what it is, and here we go. It's a problem for one couple. I don't know how much it's going to be a problem for, but it is what it is, man. Yeah. They get what they get, and I just find that story so funny.
It's wild. It's definitely wild. Should they have to keep the baby or what?
You're asking me? Sorry, what was your question?
Should they have to keep the baby or what?
You know, I don't think I would ever put myself in that position, but I don't know. But if they should keep the baby, I really don't know. I don't know, because that's what I'm saying. Like, why would the guy put himself in this position where he's now with a woman that she needs IVF and they have to implant the baby in them because society lied to them and tell them they can have it all, and now you as a male, you have to sacrifice all of this money and medication, and now you end up with a black baby. It's like I don't know.
That is funny, man.
I really don't know. I don't know. But I was calling in yesterday regarding the Virginia thing, but I guess everyone kind of touched on it already because I heard a little bit of the show yesterday. I haven't fully rewatched it yet, but I was going to ask Rick, what does he think about his state you're even getting talks and walking a dog, man. That's kind of crazy.
I heard some
when
of
I saw
that.
that news, I'm like, that's wild.
I've been hearing little bits of that. That is so wild, but it's crazy. They're coming up with all sorts of really creative taxes.
Yeah.
To
I'm
drive,
like,
even.
well,
you heard of that?
Yeah. Which one was it?
They want to. I don't know if this is in Virginia though, but there's all this talk of a tax for every mile you drive.
Oh,
and
that's
fact,
in
that
LA.
already
That's in
exists.
California.
Yes, they're talking about it in California, but I come to find out they already have such a tax in in Oregon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But yeah, I heard. I saw a little clip about it on the weekend that Gavin Newsom, they're trying to implement it in California, and I'm like, that's next level wild. You know?
For every mile you drive.
Yeah, and if you drive with a family, they're actually charging you to go to work. That's kind of crazy.
That's so crazy.
Man, you guys are in LA though, but I don't know what's gonna come of that. I don't know if that will even get passed because that's kind of a crazy.
But it's like already passed in like Oregon already. So some form of it has already passed. So that means it's going to happen. The people aren't saying anything.
Yeah, and I think I heard this. Oh, go ahead.
I'm Marcella Lee.
That means it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I kind of overheard this. I think it was the Hake Report. I might be wrong. Where you remember they were saying a couple of years when Joe Biden was in office, they were pushing like self-driven cars, and you won't be able to drive your car, and it's a way of tracking you. They're gonna put kill switch in your car if you don't pay your car bill. So they're kind of forcing out the gas cars, and they want to implement the electric cars and self-driven car, and add kill switch in it too. So if you don't pay the miles,
to ensure that you do.
It's interesting now that I'm thinking about it. Are they trying to like tax you so much that you jump to the self-driven part of the car? I don't know. Interesting.
I don't know, but yeah, I'm not sure. Is self-driving to that level? But you'd have to, if you implemented true self-driving, you'd have to get rid of manual driving.
Yeah.
If you wanted the most efficient and you know the maximized efficiency with self-driving, you'd have to get rid of regular drivers. Like no more regular driving.
Yeah. So it could be a way of forcing out regular drivers. You give them all this tax on their mileage and all that. So they're like, oh, we don't want any cars anymore. We just want to go to self-driven cars. But who knows? I don't think you can ever have full electric vehicle all over the world because they want to do that here in Canada too. It makes no sense.
Maybe eventually, but it is what you're talking about is far more difficult because you're dealing with people. You're dealing with people, and for a total, like there's going to be all sorts of modifications to all the vehicles that exist now without kill switches that take years and years for them to phase out. It'll definitely it's a difficult thing to really do.
Yeah.
Implement so totally. So, they'll be the like, hey, modify, hey, bring your car here. We'll remove the kill switch. You know what I'm saying? Like, They'll make the when they start beaming ads into our dreams, they'll make the ad block implant. You know.
Oh yeah, I even heard that. I think I saw this. I don't remember where I saw it, but they were putting ads on the new cars to your display screen for music and stuff, and you have to have subscription for the ads not to come through. That's kind of crazy too. But all right, man.
Yeah, not
it's
in the
good
car.
chatting with
That's
you.
BS.
Huh?
In the car, it's like you bought that thing. That's such BS. Cars as
Yeah,
a
it's a
service
way
is
of
not
making
something
more
I
money.
like.
Yeah.
There can't be a hybrid model there on something so expensive that you purchased. You know, it's soft SaaS, right? Software as a service, products as a service, all that. Not necessarily against it, but you start mixing up models like that. That just feels like corporate grubbiness. Like, how do we maximize? You know, we gave them Spotify in the car. We should be able to make our money back. It's like, you know what? Screw you. Like, we bought the car. You know, it's hardware as a service. You can't mix it up like that. That's BS.
I mean, they're always going to look at ways to upsell, I guess, but that's just greedy.
Jermaine, man, can you call me again?
Of course, sir. Shout out to Trump, man. What
Big
the?
time. Call me again. Oops. 888-775-3773. Let's see here. What are y'all saying? In the last bit of the show. Thank you, someone, with your out-of-control back-to-back coffees. At Barbecue Pringle with your out-of-control back-to-back coffees. Thank you for that. BuyMeACoffee.com/AnchorBaby says, God already said in the Old Testament, the sacrifice of sons for payment of sin is an abomination. Jesus also did say, why are you calling me good? No man is good. Only God is good. Yeah. Why are you calling Jesus God? He also threatened death on non-believers. Did he really? You were saying Jesus threatened death on non-believers? I don't know if that's what you're saying, but that's interesting. Did Jesus threaten death on non-believers? Jihad. Jesus did jihad. Thank you, Barbecue Pringle says, with more super chat, with more coffee, says, God also said he is not a man and never will be, and he cannot die and never will in the Old Testament. So if Christians say Jesus is a perfect man who died for their sins, their riddle book is a hoax. Tell him, Barbecue Pringle. Well, maybe he was perfect, though. I think he did say he was perfect, no? Be ye perfect like your Father in heaven. Y'all feel me? Thank you for the coffees and the support. I do appreciate it. Amazing. All right, let's see what else here. What do I have saved here? Because they're trying to give ICE body cams. You know, I might be all newsed out, so to speak. You know, what do we do? It's all Epstein. But I did have this saved. Like, they're trying to give ICE body cams. I wonder how that's going to go, huh?
Also,
right? They gave the police the body cams because of racism, right? Oh, it's racism. They're just killing them in the streets. They're just kneeling on their necks. They're absolute tulips. They're just angels, snatching them off the streets from the families. And now they got single mothers. They're snatching these tulips out of these families, the black families. And then they gave the police body cams, and it's like, oh, never mind. And everybody became a racist overnight. Well, not overnight. Okay, the timeline's a little different, but you're following the picture here. They gave the police the body cams. Everybody starts sounding like us now. They're like, yeah. What's that? A headline about claiming racism? That's probably a hoax, huh? Oh, what is this? Did an unarmed black get killed? What were they? Resisting arrest? They sure enough resisted. You know, they gave them the body cams, and it's like, okay, wow, they're really difficult. These people in these videos are, wow, I understand why the cops are having such a hard time. So, it's crazy because the reason they're doing this is because of a similar thinking, right? They're in the streets. They killed Renee Good. They killed Alex Preddy. It's the same story. We're going to find out that the public is dumb. But also that, these people are a mess. In my opinion, that's what we're going to see. We're also going to see a lot of just mucking up of the system. It's like we got to scrutinize every single video. It's got to be a news story every single time. Sure, there'll be the general gist of like, wow, these people really are a mess. And I understand ICE. But you're going to have just this like mess and millions of dollars that are going to go to wrongful convictions because a body cam video looked slightly wrong and the public doesn't understand what they're looking at.
Recently about the Department of Homeland Security as Kristi Noem announcing that body cams will be worn by all ICE.
Bondi cams? Did he just say Bondi cams? Are we calling them Bondi cams? Is that girl boss? Is that girl boss Pam Bondi calling it Bondi cams? Obviously, that was a slip of the tongue, or maybe he didn't even say that. Let's back it up. But that'd be funny. Wouldn't that be hilarious? If our blonde Pam Blondie, Scam Bondi, as some people call her, United States Attorney General. If she girl bossed it up and said, and we're going to call them Bondi cams. What do you guys think? We love it, right? We love it.
So some big news coming in just recently about the Department of Homeland Security as Kristi Noem announcing that body cams will be worn by...
I hear Bondi cams. And they're like pink. They're like pink Bondi cams. We got the Bondi cams on them. Don't worry. We're on it. We got them outfitted with the Bondi cams.
All ICE and
she's like taking a note of Trump. She's like womaning up the Justice Department. She's like, Trump does it. He calls everything Trump. Trump Towers. We're going to call them Bondi cams. They're the greatest cams. They're the greatest body cams of all time. They're Bondi cams.
Control agents effective immediately.
I think he said Bondi. I'm stuck on that. Then we'll move on.
Also, some big news coming in just recently about the Department of Homeland Security as Kristi Noem announcing that body cams...
Bondi cams. They're Bondi cams, folks. Obviously, that was a slip of the tongue. All right, let's get to Anthony out of SoCal. Appreciate your call, Anthony. You're on the air.
Hey, Nick, can you hear me okay?
Coming in clear.
Sweet. Thanks for taking my call, man. I called and I wanted to respond to a few things JC said out of Canada. Next time he calls in, ask him if he has any like non-liberal talking points against Trump. I thought the idea that like the 34 felony count is obviously bogus if you're not in like the liberal sewing circles, and I don't know what not being on 4chan has to do with anything about Trump. I just thought it was kind of a cop out. Try to press him on that, see what he says.
Okay.
I don't know what he meant by that.
I thought about that after. I'm like, wait a second. 34 felonies. That's such a feminist thing. I thought about that after.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's a bummer, man. It's like you could see how much the media just influences. It goes back to what I brought up before about the Schmidt-Mundt Act, where the United States government is allowed to use propaganda on its own citizens. Thank you, Obama, little boy Obama, for letting that pass. So that's why I was going to bring that up on the Hake Report recently, just because of all the callers with differing perspectives regarding the ICE issue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we're folks are just being played and the government's playing them, and so everyone thinks they have a valid opinion because they're being manipulated, when common sense just tells you, hey, don't interfere with law enforcement, or like being illegal is a crime. and crimes have consequences. Just no common sense in that discussion. But yeah, I was gonna go in depth on some of JC's points, but then you got that Muslim super chat. Yeah, but I thought Barbecue Pringle sounds like a Muslim. Is that right?
I don't know if he is. I didn't think that. It didn't cross my mind. Why do you say that?
Just all the Muslim talking points, and as well as the misrepresentation of the Bible, and kind of saying how what did he call it? What kind of book? Like he said it was a fantasy. He called it something. I thought it was.
I don't remember their riddle book. Oh, he called it a riddle.
Oh, the riddle.
Book?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
He was talking. I didn't realize that. Barbecue Pringle was saying, he's saying God already said in the Old Testament the sacrifice of sons for payment of sin is an abomination. He said God also said he is not a man, never will be. So if Christians say Jesus is a perfect man who died for their sins, their riddle book is a hoax. I didn't clue into that. He's calling their Bible right, just negatively. He's thinking of it negatively. It's just a riddle book.
Yeah. It's a typical Muslim talking point. So he totally I know it's not Thumper Thursday, but I thought I'd correct him. And I mean, you chime in as well, because I know we have differing opinions about Jesus and
go ahead, no
all that jazz. But it says God's not a man that he should lie. So he told, what did he say? He said God is not a man and never will be.
Yeah, and he cannot die and never will.
Yeah, I don't know what verse he's talking about, but I'm pretty sure Muslims always quote, God is not a man that he should lie. So it's not saying that he's, it's totally misrepresented. I think the point is, if he was a man, he wouldn't lie. I thought that's what it was, and the idea behind it. And I think the other point about what was the other one? He's.
But real quick, so that's in the Bible.
Yeah.
God is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Yeah, I think that's just simply saying God is not like us.
Is that what Barbecue said? Yeah, so he's basically saying he's not a man that he would lie or repent. In other words, he would sin.
Right. I think that verse is simply saying that God is not like us. Like that's what people do. People lie. People need to repent. God doesn't need to do that. And he said, and if he said it, he'll do it. That's what I'm getting from that verse.
Yeah, I agree. And what did Barbecue say it was?
He's saying that God said he is not a man and never will be, and he cannot die and never will. He said in the Old.
Yeah, I don't know how he. Yeah, that's typical Islamic misinterpretation of the text. Barbecue, do better, bro. And what was the other portion he said about being a sacrifice or a son?
God said,
like
Old
that.
Testament, the sacrifice of sons for payment of sin is an abomination.
Yeah, so the reason why I thought Barbecue is a Muslim is because they don't believe that Jesus is the Son of God or that he died for our sins. So I don't know where what he pulled that out of, because you and I even agree that Jesus is the Son of God and that he did die for our sins, right? Is that something we could agree on?
Sure.
Yeah, so I don't even know where he got that from. That's total.
That's interesting. I didn't even catch all that. That's interesting because he's saying, why is he bringing up how sacrificing sons is an abomination? He's saying he's possibly criticizing Christians for caring about the sacrifice of a son in Jesus.
Exactly. And that's like the troubling thing about Islam, just as a theology, just when you think about it, like they say they agree with everything they agree with Christians, even though they don't. but they vehemently disagree with the idea of Jesus being a sacrifice for sins. So it's like, and you and I would also agree, you mentioned this before about the idea that it's done. Jesus died for your sins. It's over with. Right? And so that's like your gateway to salvation. You've said that before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the odd part about Islam is that's what they oppose completely. They're totally against that. They fundamentally disagree with the Christian idea of salvation, which totally takes them out of the fold of, anything related to Christianity. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Sort of. I mean, I think what you're saying essentially is like, you can't be saved without Jesus, is what you're saying?
Yeah, well, that's what Christians
That's
believe,
what you're
right?
saying,
That's
right?
the
You're
Bible.
saying you can't be saved without Jesus, so, if you're a Muslim, you can't be saved. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. Yeah, well, I'm saying that it's a bit odd that they ride off of the Christian narrative,
Mm-hmm.
but then reject the most fundamental premise of the narrative, or the formula for salvation.
And I'm getting what you're saying, but this is where I have like no opinion on that, because what is this formula for salvation? Because, and I don't know if this is what you're saying, but to those that say, well, if you're a Muslim, you can't be saved because Jesus is the way of the life and only through me, blah, blah, blah. What those people are, when they say that, and you'll tell me in a second what you mean, when they say that, it's just thoughts. They're just saying, if I say these words and I believe in my head, and I say in my head, I believe in Jesus, that's what they're saying. And I don't know if that's what God meant. And I don't know if God has anything to do with that. Because they're saying, when they say, well, when you're saying, well, look, what you're telling me is this barbecue Pringle is denying Jesus. He's saying, well, look, you can't sacrifice a son for sins. And so what someone might respond to that is, well, Jesus said he is the way of the Son, blah, blah, blah. And so the only way to God is through him. But what does that mean? The only way to God is through him. The through him in their heads is, again, what I just said. If they just say in their head, they read something on a page and say in their head, I believe in Jesus. But I don't know if that's what Jesus meant.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. I think, you're adding a layer that's important, but I think it's important within the realm of like already being a quote unquote Christian. It's like, I think what you're touching on is people could claim to be Christian, people could claim to accept Jesus, but just pronounce it with their tongue or with their mouth, and do like a rote movement of their speech, and say, yeah, I accept Jesus. But
right.
what does that really mean? Does that mean like you're saved? And I totally.
That's one side. Let me give you the other side too. That's one side. Yeah. What does it mean to us? What does that mean in my heart? Am I just saying it or am I doing it? But also on the other side, what did Jesus mean? Because put it like this. Let me ask you this. Do you think someone can be saved or with God or whatever that may mean if they never heard of Jesus Christ ever? They were born they fell from a plane. I don't know. This is an extreme example, but like, I asked this to maybe understand your thinking. What are you thinking? And I don't necessarily even know the answer, to be honest. But if they just like plopped up in an island, they never heard of Jesus, can God save them? Like, can they, or are they just, are they cooked? They have no chance, or like what?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think,
or a good question.
2 points to that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a good question. It's kind of like the typical, you hear this a lot from like atheists. And one thing that, like, my understanding about God is that he's like a just judge, so it's not like he's not going to save you if you don't desire him. Like for example, when Jesus, when he died on the cross, he did the quote unquote harrowing of Hades, right? He preached to the dead. And so anyone who did not know the gospel learned about the gospel. That's what he was doing, those 3 days, so to speak, right? And so people didn't hear about him, but he gave them the opportunity to accept him. Likewise, I'd say, and in the Orthodox belief, is that even after you die, if you've never heard about Jesus, you still have an opportunity to accept him. So again, I'm not going to make any definitive claim on salvation. That's not for me to say, right? But it is what I can speak on is the fact that God is a just judge, and that you always, if you didn't have the opportunity, I think He'll give you one, and you will have the free will to accept that or deny that and say, no, I don't want to be with you. Does that make sense?
I think so. I accept what you're saying.
Yes, but so to go back to the Islamic perspective, though, so they're totally aware of the Christian position and the narrative that they piggyback off of and use for their own uses, right? They're basically the way I see Islam is it's just a cult that piggybacked off Christianity for the fame of it, and then they pull this antichrist doctrine and deny the Son, they don't even think God is a father. The only way you could come to Allah is as a slave or a servant. The Arabic term is actually a slave. So it's not even the Christian term of a bondservant or whatever it was, or when Jesus says he humbled himself in the form of a servant. It's not the same. It's more of a degraded pejorative in the Quranic narrative. So my whole point was that, it's the best that they could do is like what Barbecue Pringle demonstrated, is that all they could do is misrepresent the Bible to try to make it seem like this riddle book. When we examined every single verse, and it was totally diametrically opposed to what Barbecue Pringle brought up. So
interesting, man.
And I just bring this, and it's a reoccurring narrative in Islamic polemics. The best Muslims could do is completely misrepresent the Christian position to make a so-called prophet that married a 6-year-old and had sex with a 9-year-old seem like the best example to mankind, and that's what they believe. That's why in Islamic countries marriage is legal at the age of 9 years old, because they follow the role of their pedophile prophet. So Barbecue, do better, bro. Do bring up better sources next time. I'm interested in
be better.
Why? Yeah, just be better, man. Be honest. But yeah, that's. I was going to talk about Jesus more, Nick, but it's not Thursday, and I know it's.
Yeah, you'll have to call me again. We're at the end of the show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, let me know if you find anything good, or see if there's anything good in those Epstein jazz. I haven't looked much into it.
Yeah, I'll let you know if I find something. I don't know if you've been seeing my coverage yesterday and today, but I'll keep looking. I've yet to find anything conclusive.
Yeah. Well, Epstein would be a good Muslim. I'll just say that. Anyways.
Call me again, Anthony.
All right. Take care, Nick.
All right, folks. That's it from the Anchor Baby. Thank you for the super chats. We did the calls. We did the topics. We did it all. We got Black Excellence on the JLP show, followed by Manhood Hour, the Hake Report, and then, of course, more American Anchor Baby. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, do the things. Don't be rude. Click the little notification bell, because I'll be back tomorrow. For now, take care. That's it from me. Peace. And Lil Nick, too, he's got to say bye. Bye.
Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married, and the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good, or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have the sex. You don't want to be